They thought Earth had surrendered. They thought silence meant victory. They thought wrong. It began with Tarsi's protocol, signed by 27 galactic species, unanimously voted to contain Terran instability. A polite euphemism for planetary sterilization. 200 dreadnoughts entered the Sol system, 5 full fleets, 14 war-optimized species, and one command, eradicate. They came through Saturn's orbit like gods with law books. They didn't speak. They didn't negotiate. They pressed one button, and 3 billion humans died. Cities vanished in thermal shockwaves. Atmospheres ruptured. Oceans turned to steam. Orbital satellites rained like meteors onto broken continents. Children still asleep in their beds were turned into shadows against crumbling walls. Families clasping hands became carbon outlines. Earth's defense grid, once rumored to be the strongest in the Orion Arm, did not fire. Not once. It had been deactivated days before the attack remotely, by Earth's own allies. They had buried the knife before showing their smile. In the aftermath, the broadcasts began, from the victors. Operation Harmony complete. Stability restored to Sector Theta. Casualties acceptable. Resistance negligible. Galactic media labeled it preventative action. Diplomats called it a regrettable necessity. Analysts praised the swift efficiency. And Earth said nothing. No emergency signals, no retaliatory strikes, no warnings, no condemnation, just silence. Not the silence of defeat, not grief, not fear, it was something else. The kind of silence a deep well gives back when you throw in a stone and nothing echoes back. 7 days later, a ping, unregistered, unencrypted, weak, from Europa, the ice moon of Jupiter, a place Earth hadn't inhabited in 2 decades. The message was text only. 12 words, 3 billion dead, requesting retrieval of THAUMATOS-class vaults. Authorization, Black Sun. No one understood, but one alien commander did, Admiral Vorsk of the Hegemony Fleet. He had once served near Earth during peacetime border exercises. He knew the name, THAUMATOS. He'd read the legends. He ordered the message quarantined. Too late. Across Europa's crust, black vaults stirred. Ice cracked from heat that had no source. No explosions, no drills, no screams, just pressure, an awakening. Within 72 hours, 3 recon ships near Jupiter disappeared. No wreckage, no black box, no response. Then a mining station on Ganymede sent a final, fragmenting message. ... It's walking. Inside. No hull breach. No door. No. Then silence. Again. Vorsk pleaded with High Command. Call back the fleets. We don't know what we triggered. They denied his request. They laughed. Earth is finished. Vorsk didn't argue. He prepared his will. Back on Earth, the few who survived lived underground, deep, beneath tectonic vaults older than the modern calendar. Vaults built not for survival, but for containment. They weren't hiding from the galaxy. They were holding back what they'd buried. One survivor, a technician named Riaya, watched as status lights turned from red to green. 6 vaults, then 9, then 30. 1,000 containment doors began opening across Mars, Ceres, Europa, Earth's deep mantle, each marked with 3 words, Project THAUMATOS active. Riaya sent one last message to orbit before the comms died. They killed the surface. They forgot the roots. We're not launching weapons. We're unlocking the reasons we built them. Then she turned to her partner and whispered, voice shaking, we told ourselves we'd never use them, that they were nightmares for monsters that would never come. Her partner replied, they came. Orbit Command Watch Station L7 received no more messages after that. But they did receive something else. 30 hours later, every synthetic surveillance satellite in orbit, human and alien alike, blacked out. Not destroyed, just erased, as if nothing had ever been launched. Even gravity forgot they existed. Admiral Vorsk was last seen evacuating his fleet near Neptune. No battle was recorded, just a brief video, 1 frame. A humanoid figure, 15 meters tall, standing on the outer hull of his flagship. No suit, no heat signature, no face. It raised one arm, the ship folded in half. The frame was analyzed millions of times. No data matched any known Terran combat armor. No technology explained the event. No species recognized the symbols burned into its body. But one translator found something. The scripture wrapped around its arms read, "Do not wake what we buried to protect you." They called them monsters. That word was too small. Monsters are flesh. These were not. Monsters obey instincts. These obeyed nothing. Monsters die. These don't. Across the Sol system, alien warships held position. Scanning, searching, panicking. No human transmissions. No diplomacy, no defenses. And yet ships disappeared, not destroyed, not even damaged, just gone. Their signals ended mid-ping. Crews never screamed, no debris floated, no energy spikes, no survivors. Entire fleets swallowed without a trace. The hegemony deployed Dread-class beacons near Mars to triangulate the anomaly. They received one reading. It wasn't a signature, it was a heartbeat. And it wasn't human, not anymore. In Europa's caverns, the first recovered file from Project THAUMATOS finally decrypted. Riaya, one of the few surviving humans in Europa's Vault Command, read it aloud. Her voice cracked halfway through. THAUMATOS Prime, classified as a containment override entity. No command authority, no shutdown failsafe. Active only upon extinction-level trigger. Objective: restore equilibrium through systemic elimination of external threats. Unbound class. She whispered to no one. We didn't build them to protect Earth. We built them to stop what would come after Earth was gone. 3 weeks post-attack, hegemony warlords prepared a second invasion. This time to ensure permanent sterilization. They never made it past Uranus. Their vanguard fleet, 117 ships, transmitted for 11 seconds, then fell into total silence. 3 minutes later, a signal from one of Earth's deep space probes activated. It was a recording, not in human language. It was encoded in every language known in the galactic directory, over 9,000 formats. It spoke once. The surface is dead. The roots are awake. If you come again, you will not leave systems. You will not leave memory. You will not leave history. Several alien civilizations decried it as a bluff. Others withdrew entirely from the Sol frontier. But 3 empires remained, the Varn Dominion, the Polari Hive, and the Neskari Chain. They formed a coalition, agreed on a total system purge. Erase Earth, scour its moons, flood its sun if needed. Nothing human must remain. They moved with confidence, weapons hot, troops ready, command AI online. They never even reached the asteroid belt. They were met by something that didn't move, didn't attack, didn't fire. It just appeared inside their command decks, as if the air itself rejected them. It had no face, no armor, no voice, only its hands. It touched nothing, and everything stopped. Entire minds went dark. Commanders wept blood and forgot their names. Quantum cores reversed their own encryption and melted. Ships that tried to flee warped into themselves, their exit vectors erased before they launched. A leaked hegemony document called the entity the Black Answer, not because it explained anything, but because every question stopped where it arrived. Meanwhile, on Earth's surface, the wind returned. Ash blew across empty continents. And beneath it, the THAUMATOS vaults continued to open, each one labeled, Root Cycle, Unbound, Do Not Interfere. The monsters weren't being deployed. They weren't controlled. They were unleashed. They weren't tools of revenge. They were Earth's last immune system, and now they were classifying the galaxy as infection. Back in the Galactic Council, arguments raged. What are these things? Can they be reasoned with? Are there more? Only one Terran researcher, an exile named Dr. Yoni, agreed to speak. She sat before them, eyes hollow, skin pale from Europa's vault lights. She didn't blink when she said, "They were born to die saving us. We just never told them Earth died first." A Varn diplomat shouted, "Then tell them to stop." Dr. Yoni looked up slowly. "You don't understand. They're not coming for vengeance. They're coming for balance. and to them you already tipped the scale. Galactic AI mainframes tried calculating response tactics. They all crashed at the same point. Prediction horizon, zero. Fate paths, fragmented. Outcome certainty, non-existent. No simulation could model what humanity released, because it wasn't human anymore. It was a reflection of everything Earth endured, and now it walked. It began with surrender, a desperate one. The Galactic Council transmitted a unified request across all frequencies. We recognize Terran suffering, we offer reparations, we request ceasefire, we request mercy. No response. Then they tried offerings. Crates of data archives, maps, tech, histories, crystalline cities delivered by drone, even genetic apologies, engineered species meant to serve as tribute. They were left untouched. Nothing was accepted. Nothing was acknowledged, and then they appeared again. Not the monsters, the lesser ones, spectral, quiet, walking slowly through void corridors of orbital stations, seen only on camera feeds, never in person. They didn't kill, they just looked. And when they looked at you, something broke. Not bone, not logic, belief. Entire priesthoods in the Neskari chain self-immolated. Hive minds split their own memories out of collective space. A single Sarn tactician opened the airlock of his war room without a suit, just to avoid being watched again. For the first time in galactic history, the question changed from "how do we win?" to "can we be spared?" But the monsters didn't respond, because sparing was never the objective. A final diplomatic envoy constructed from 50 neutral species was sent near Pluto's orbit. They approached slowly. No weapons, no shields, no defenses. Aboard, they carried only a voice. A human child's recording recovered from before the attack. It played, "If you're hearing this, I hope we're still friends." The ship was allowed to pass. It reached Earth orbit. It beamed down the message. For the first time in 60 days, Earth responded. One sentence, text only. "You were, then you weren't. Now it's not up to us anymore." From that moment, no one tried peace again, because they finally understood Earth wasn't answering. The things beneath Earth were, and they didn't negotiate. In the Varn Dominion, 700 light-years away, war fleets vanished from dry dock without motion. Entire shipyards found hollow. Technicians' bones left upright in their suits, tools still in hand, mouths opened mid-sentence. In the Dressari clusters, AI minds fragmented themselves, turning off one neuron at a time until they forgot how to scream. In the Grenthal Vale, star maps were found rewritten, constellations bent into Terran script none of the researchers had installed. It spelled. It was never war, it was a wake. Galactic species demanded answers from each other. Suspicions flared. Empires collapsed under fear, because no one knew how many THAUMATOS entities were active. No one knew what they were made of. No one knew what they considered a threat. One thing was clear: proximity was not required. Dr. Yoni, the last Terran scientist still answering questions, offered a final public statement. She looked tired, hair white, voice hollow. THAUMATOS was created not to win, not to conquer. It was created to make the concept of victory meaningless, because one day someone would kill enough of us to make words useless. You found that day. Alien theologians began preaching silence. Entire species gave up communication, hoping not to be heard. Too late. The monsters were already inside the idea of fear, and once something lives there, it doesn't have to arrive physically. One broadcast, unauthorized, slipped through from the last Polari command center. A general screamed. "We burned their forests. We melted their oceans. We shattered their homes. And they still had one place left, under the skin of reality." Then the feed cut to black. On Mars, one last Terran vault opened. A single entity walked out. Its name? Requiem 9, species, unknown, origin, human adjacent, height, variable, behavior. Observation only. It stood in the crater where the first alien soldiers landed a century ago. And it said one phrase, broadcast without energy signature, without waves, without motion. Judgment is not noise. Judgment is absence. Then every galaxy-wide archive of Earth's history corrupted, not deleted, rewritten. No records of Earth's wars remained, only pages that said, "You earned this." They thought monsters roared. They expected storms, fire, war cries. But what Earth released, what THAUMATOS became, didn't speak. It listened and remembered. It didn't come for revenge, it came for closure. And it didn't knock, it erased doors. Galactic civilization had no center anymore. No command, no senate, no court, only hiding places. Species once proud of their dominance now debated extinction as an act of mercy, not for humanity's sake, for their own. Because the longer they lived, the closer the monsters got. And they never ran. They walked, always one step behind the last scream. In the ruins of what was once the triune throne world, a final gathering of survivors watched their skies bleed. One whispered, "We were warned. Earth gave us every chance. It wasn't them who wanted this." Another asked, "Then who did?" The first looked up as the shadow passed over their bunker. "We did. The moment we thought silence meant surrender." The monsters never touched planets directly. They unmade civilizations with something far older than war. Absence. Where they passed, data unraveled, physics misaligned, memory collapsed. One world found its oceans missing. Another watched its moons blink out of orbit. Entire species forgot their own names, as if the universe was being rewritten in reverse. Then Earth sent one last message. Final, singular. Encoded in every spectrum, it said, "We are no longer your enemy, we no longer exist." The galaxy held its breath, hoping it was over. Then came the echo, not from Earth, from inside every galactic archive. Buried in dark files, dead systems, old language roots, words that hadn't been there before, a phrase carved into forbidden frequencies. "You didn't kill humanity, you killed our patience." After that, entire sectors went dark. Blackened stars, dead comets, planets that never formed, not destroyed, forgotten. The monsters weren't just unmaking civilizations. They were deleting their place in time, as if they were saying, "You had no right to this page." One empire, the last one with a fleet still functioning, made a final attempt. They launched their ships into Earth's orbit, not to fight, to record. They wanted proof, a story, a memory. But when the fleet arrived, there was no Earth. Nothing. No planet, no sun, no system, no gravity, no coordinates, as if Saul had been removed from the very scaffolding of space. The admiral sobbed, not out of grief, out of understanding. "They didn't kill us, they're teaching the galaxy what we did, by showing what happens when memory becomes a weapon." In the center of the void where Earth once stood, a single statue drifted, humanoid, faceless, eyes closed, no message, no plaque. Just its hand held open, not in welcome, but as a mirror. Dr. Yoni died in her vault the same day. Her final words, written into her last journal, read, "We never created monsters, we created witnesses. And we left them with nothing to forgive." Thousands of years later, alien children speak of the before time. Some think Earth was a myth, others think it was a god, but all of them across every star are taught the same rule. If you find silence, leave it be, because the last species who didn't was never heard from again. And so the galaxy moved on, afraid to ask questions, because the answers might come walking.